Hi everyone, here is a question on the board, LCM and HCF for those in upper primary, JSS1 and JSS2. You are going to find this video very important for you in mathematics. The question says, find the LCM and HCF of 24 and 40. First of all, what is LCM? LCM is talking about the least common multiples. That means there are many common multiples, but the least of them all is what we are after. And that is for LCM. Now for HCF, means highest common factor. It means there can be many factors between two numbers or more than two numbers. But the one that is the highest is our focus, which is highest common factor. So we are going to solve for LCM and later use that same number and solve for HCF. And from there, I will now show you the difference between LCM and HCF. So let us solve. So we have the question on the board, LCM of 24 and 40. We are going to write 24. We're going to write 40. And there is a common number that can divide both of them. So long as the number can divide one of the two numbers here, you are good to go. So the number is what? 2. 2 can divide 24, you will be left with 12, and we'll be left with 20. When I use 2 again, you'll be left with 6, because 12 divided by 2 is 6, 20 divided by 2 is 10. If I make use of 2 again, I'll be left with 3, and I'll be left with 5 here. With the look of things, 2 cannot divide 3, 2 cannot divide 5, because both of them are what? Odd numbers. But 3 can divide 3. It will give me 1. 3 cannot divide 5. I'm still going to write back my 5. But because it is only 5 that is remaining, I will use 5 to conclude. And 5 will divide 5. It will give me 1. So what is our LCM? Our LCM means 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 5. And when we multiply all these numbers, 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 3 is 24. When 24 multiplies 5, our LCM gives us 120. Now this is how to find LCM. So how do we find HCF? Now it's a similar approach, but the ending is not similar. The ending is different. So how do we find HCF? When we have 24 and we have 40, in HCF, you are going to use a number that will divide both of them without remainder. The number must, is a big must. The number must divide both of them without any remainder. So when you look at 24 and 40, the smallest number that can divide both of them without any remainder is 2. When 2 divides 24, we are left with 12, and definitely we'll be left with 20 here. 2 can still divide 12, and the same 2 can still divide 20. And when you use 2 here again, you are left with 6, you are left with 10. 2 again can still divide 6. The same 2 can still divide 10. So when I use my 2 here and I divide 6 by 2, I'll be left with 3. And when my 10 divides 2, I'll be left with 5. Now when you look at the board, you realize that 2 cannot divide 3. And 2 cannot divide 5. Even if I use my 3, 3 can only divide this 3, but 3 cannot divide 5. And even if I use my 5, 5 can only divide 5, but 5 cannot divide 3. So therefore, this leaves us with our final answer. We say our final answer is 2 times 2 times 2, which is what? 8. And that is just the simple difference between LCM and HCF. In LCM, you must have both numbers giving you 1 and 1. Both numbers must give you 1 and 1. But in HCF, it doesn't matter. So long as that number that you've been using to divide both of them, if that number fails to divide both of them, your answer gives you whatever you have acquired here. But if the number continues dividing the both of them, you keep on dividing until you get to a particular stage whereby the same number cannot divide both of them. And this has brought us to the end of this the question, which is what the LCM and HCF of 24 and 40.